Hello, everyone. Today we have Harish here. Welcome to our new podcast. Today we are diving into a story that a lot of people in tech can relate to or will relate to, but not everyone talks about it. Meet Harish, who is a software engineer who made the move to Canada with big aspirations, built a career there, and then made the surprising decision to return to India. In this episode, we're not just talking about the dream of moving abroad, we're also unpacking the reality behind it. From landing a job in Canada's tech scene to navigating work culture here, cost of living, and personal challenges, Harish shares an honest, no filter perspective on what worked, what didn't, and what ultimately led him to move back home. If you're someone considering a move to Canada, currently working here, or thinking about returning to India, this conversation will give you a grounded, real world view of what you won't usually hear. And with that, let's get into Harish's journey. Mainly, the first thing I ask everyone who comes on the show is just introduce yourself, tell us about your background, and maybe start with that.
Yeah, hi guys, nice to meet you. Anij, after a long time. So, as Anij introduced already, my name is Harish, and I did my graduation in Coimbatore and PhD Tech in engineering background in electrical discipline. And then I applied for University of Windsor in Canada and came to Canada in 2019 Jan and did a 16 months course there in Master of Electrical and Computer Engineering, where the coursework depends on your projects based on 8 subjects, which will be considered with some co-op intern of 3 months experience. So after doing my masters, I was working in Iron Martin as a project support analyst, where we have to deal with the projects first and the ServiceNow platform. So it all started good when 2020 June. So I landed a job after a period of 2 months after completing my masters. Yeah,
2022,
so
COVID.
2020. So
2020,
my coursework is 19 Jan to 2020 May. So I grabbed a job in 2020 July, June. So in June end on July. So we can take it as July. So a kind of 45 days gap. So it's a company called Iron Martin, and then we worked for Apple, a lot of clients during my 2 years period. So all was going good, and then later I was joining another company. So regarding this company, this is a fully remote role. 2 years I was fully remote, no office, nothing. So all enjoyed from the room. So it's my room, and then 2-3 rooms I stayed in Windsor. So then I'm based out of Windsor. So after completing my studies in Windsor, I started working in Windsor. It was all going good for 2 years, and then after 2 years, or 2.5 years, I moved to 2023 May, where I was working, and before that I joined a job. So they demanded to me come there, and then I was working there till 2024 May. So and then I moved to India, started my career in. I was working for 4 months in my friend's startup till I landed a job in India. So and then I got a job in HCL. HCL I was there for a year and a half. Now in the past 5 months in a different company. Now I'm in a company where now I lead a whole project for a particular product. So we call it a product owner, where we get the requirements of a particular product and give to the deployment team or development team, be a part of cost optimization team. So all this kind of things going good. So little bit of technical intro on my side. So to give a very good, this is a bit of intro. So
I think you covered most of that part, but I think all that is great. But I wanted to maybe ask. So you did your schooling. I'm assuming you did it from Chennai. You're in Chennai right now, right?
No. My dad worked for NLC, Neyveli Lignite Corporation in Neyveli, which is like. To be more specific about geographical location, 1 hour drive from Pondicherry. It's a kind of in a district, Kadalur district, kind of north of Tamil Nadu. 3 hours drive from Chennai, 1 hour drive from Pondicherry. So if you circle it in that geographical location, so I'm a kind of a midtown boy with the big dreams who landed in Canada.
Landed in Canada. Yeah, so let me ask this question. So you said you did electrical, right?
Yeah.
You did electrical in your bachelor's?
Pure electrical.
Pure electrical. And then what motivated you to move to Canada at that point? to
At
do
that
the
point,
master's?
to be very frank, so I wanted to do something in abroad. Like everybody is going for placement, so I'm just so on that point of time, what runs in my mind is I got placed in Accenture. I applied for like in the placement. It's a good college. PSG Tech is a very good college from that locality, like from that Coimbatore or maybe from the whole Tamil Nadu. It stands second in the ranking. So very good companies came. So I appeared for Robert Bosch. I appeared for Qualcomm. I got rejected in both. I got selected in Accenture. So at that time, so why to go for Accenture? I don't like the company Accenture because it's a bit of a service-based company, and my peers, 2 or 3 guys, were placed in product-based. So what my point is, I should either get placed in product-based or I should fly somewhere for masters.
Got it.
This was my go-to thing.
Main
So either
motivation
go for
to
more motivation is product-based company or you are flying abroad. So the two options. That's how I kept my path, so that it's easier to decide. So which path you want to go. So I placed in Accenture, so that made me to go for masters, and then I applied for Monash University in Melbourne and University of Sydney. So the 3 universities and applied in Australia, I got it. Another one was the University of Wollongong, and then applied for 2 universities, University of Victoria and University of Windsor, because everything goes with the application fee. So I almost spent 30,000 on that time. So I was not applying for everything. Yeah. So I applied only for 5.
Yeah, I mean it's not practical to do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people will think like, why you only applied for 5 universities? Because
5,
everything comes, that everything comes with a price, like $100 or maybe something.
Yeah. I mean I remember when I was applying, it was at least $50 to $100 per application. I must have spent at least like 60,000 just for application fees, shipping, and all of that jazz. Anyways, how did you land your first job in Canada, if I may ask? Was it through networking, application, referrals? What was that journey like when you started your first job? Was it after University of Windsor you did your masters and you got placed, or was that just pure application?
It's kind of one guy senior got placed in that, and then he was telling there was his name is Jagan. So maybe at next interview you can interview him also. Like he's still in Alberta right now. He's in Alberta, Canada. So he gave me a heads up that there is an application. So we all both applied together. So he completed like before 3 months before me. So he was still working in some company like Tim Hortons or McD, like for his own savings. But he haven't got a job in 4 months. So he gave me that link. So we both applied, and by God's grace we both got into that same role. Bit of a different role because I was supporting Apple client in the first, and he was supporting Enbridge Gas, I guess.
Enbridge, yeah. It's pretty.
So it's like a support role, project support role, where we have to go with the client inventory database, use the Salesforce platform, and how the ServiceNow ticketing is using. So that's we both are using the same one, but that's a little bit different role. So he got to me that apply. He sent me the link, and then I applied for the job using that link. And we both got. They were bulk hiring, like 30 roles they were hiring.
Oh, I see. So it is mass hiring, and what about the interview process? Was it like
two rounds?
Was it like
I still remember
2 round interviews? Okay, so first round with HR.
First round with HR screening. So still that is through phone call. So I didn't consider that as one round. The first round mainly was after HR screening. There was with the project my own manager, and then with the site lead. There was a site lead in that company, a site lead that was only for 15 minutes. So the first round was a little bit technical, and second round it was intro for 15 minutes. It happened. First round happened for 30 minutes. So
nice.
30 to 35 minutes first round. And then it was a good process thing. And then also I applied for another company in Cornwall. It's a place called Cornwall. I also applied for another company there, so I didn't get through that. But this one I got through, and then I started in the end of June in 2020 after 45 days of completing my masters. That was a good experience. I was there for 2 years. Got it. Yeah. So
and this you joined as a fresher, right?
As
a fresher, entry level. If you may, would you be able to share what was your salary like at the beginning when you started off? Just for everyone's reference, if any student who is...
It was hourly salary. It was 27 at that time, like 2020 June end. That was a pretty good salary.
So 6 years back, it's pretty decent.
27 per hour to
27.
start with is a really good, because we were
Okay.
only getting 15 or $16 in Walmart or
Part
something. So
time.
27
Yeah.
per hour, full time, and good,
Okay.
and also qualify you to apply for a PR. So that
Okay.
was going
Okay.
good.
So it kind of went well with everything you were trying to achieve, right? You got the job that you wanted. It was kind of aligning to your PR points, and that was your goal at that point in time, right? Like pass out,
Yeah,
get the
yeah,
job,
yeah.
get the PR first, then figure out the rest, right?
Yes,
Well,
yes, yes.
that's all good to know. How interesting how you found it. It's again through a friend, through a referral. So that's why I keep
Yeah.
saying referrals are always key.
Referrals work.
Keep your relationships. It always works,
Mm-hmm.
right? In the end.
And you never know when someone will come up with this thing to apply for. Like I never know. Like 2 days back, applying to that Iron Martin, that I will be applying and appearing for the interview and all. It all happened in
Right,
like a
right.
day. So
Yeah.
keep hope.
So
If
everything
someone is watching,
changes in
yeah,
a yes, exactly.
day.
Don't give up.
If,
So you can see how he did it. Okay. So the next point, what were your expectations before moving to Canada, and how did the reality compare?
yeah, it's a really good part that people shouldn't miss out. Please watch this. Because I have too much expectations, because being out from a
Okay.
midtown boy, studied in Coimbatore, which is a good city, seeing India, because before coming to Canada, my perspective is I traveled to Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Bangalore, so I know pretty much good cities around. So going to Canada, I was expecting too much, like very developed connectivity and everything was there. Was first one first I landed in Canada, then my expectation was to grab a job easily, part time, which was not. So and then get aligned. There will be a lot of different Canadian friends would I be making. That is my second
That is
expectation.
not true. It's a myth.
So Canadian
Yeah.
friends in the sense Canadian nationals, I meant.
Yeah.
Third expectation was to manage a bit with the public transport and going to work. So let me break down these three expectations. So the first expectations, as I told, coming to Canada, I would get a part time easily, which was not. I came in end of December for my Jan intake in 2018. 2019 Jan I started. So till April, I didn't get a job. In April, I got into Walmart. So Walmart, I worked there for odd 6 or 7 months. And then I was working in a different restaurant chain, a hot dog restaurant chain. So that how, and then it went. So that was the thing I would break down for people who want to come to Canada, because it won't be
It
easy
takes a
for you to
while
grab.
to.
It takes a while.
Yeah.
Even in
Yeah.
6 years back, it took a while, or 7 years back. Then you can imagine the situation right now. Lot of people
Yeah.
are coming to Canada right now, and a lot of cheap labor are there. So it will be very tough right now, if I presume. And
Yeah.
the second method which I saw, I will be making a lot of Canadian friends. Yeah, you'd be making. So out of 50 friends you would be making 3 Canadian nationals. The rest of people are from India, and that too from your own state, maybe from your
Yeah.
own place. Yeah. I made a lot of friends in India, like from India, Indian friends, because
Yeah.
I didn't make Canadian friends. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is a trend when you go out to do masters in any of these countries, for example, like Europe, Canada, Australia, US, regardless of where you go. What I've noticed is that the locals or the nationals there usually don't tend to do masters or go towards PhD a lot,
Yes.
because most of them will be doing bachelors and then they
Yeah.
get into the workforce directly, unless somebody is like really deep want to go into a particular subject, then you might see a lot more people, right? I
Yeah.
think that is like a trend I've seen, and I've faced that as well during my masters as well. So there's no surprises there. But yeah, I think that's a myth to break down. Yeah, what about the third one? Let's go to the third one.
What was the third one? The going with the good connectivity of public transport.
Yeah.
Because I'm from Tamil Nadu, like even though the buses are not that posh or maybe comfortable, they each and every place in deep state, maybe the deep remote places are connected to the center point. Maybe for like 6 or 7 cities in the
Yep.
state. The state has 7 big cities, so it get connected to every nook and corner of the state through bus or to train. Because India have a very good
Okay.
connectivity in train, but in Canada, which I am there, it's a very bad connectivity of train. and very bad connectivity of public transport. From one place to other place, you either have to have a car or maybe carpooling ride. Through public transport, it's not that easy. So initial 3-4 months, I was on a struggle. 3 months maybe to get used to the what is there, how to go to because I used to get jobs in like 15-20 kilometers away from Windsor, so which is like Essex County or maybe Leamington or maybe Amherstburg. So that is all like 20-25 kilometers away from Windsor.
Minutes. Yeah.
Maybe so even in between Windsor to London, there is not of which is called Tilbury. People were used to go to Tilbury to work.
Yeah.
Tilbury to work.
So, it's pretty fun. If you don't have a car, it's really difficult.
Yeah. So in 3 months, I come to know you should have a car. That's how the day-to-day need will be fulfilled. So in Canada, you should have a house. You should have like a basic food, water, shelter, or whatever the basic needs. The car is also a basic need.
A basic need.
Because in Canada. So that's all one of the tough challenges. But this is all maybe the cons I am concentrating on. But the pros are there is a lot of good things which I have to know. The good friendly nature, with how to like in Canada, in India we don't talk to a stranger. We used to think we were more skeptical in India. But in Canada, people were not skeptical about a stranger. They will be nodding or they will be talking to you. How's the day going? So learning a bit of culture, and then it opens you will build confidence on your side. Coming across a different country, so there is a lot of good positivities on Canada too.
So maybe another question: do you think there were enough growth opportunities in your field in Canada?
There is always
what was your feeling? Yeah,
there is always a growth in anywhere in any domain, unless and until we have to be skilled to that moment. Maybe right now we have to be skilled with the AI. Things in Canada, a lot of growth opportunities are there. A little bit you have to get updated with the day-to-day changes or what are the technology needs. Maybe if you're working in one domain, you have to work on other domains so that you have a multi-collaborative skill. So that in future people will look for a candidate with a multi-collaborative skill. So cross-collaboration like that.
Maybe I mean compared to US, limited opportunities I would say. Maybe 50% lower. But there are still opportunities if you're good, if you're deep into your field, your technical expertise is there, you'll definitely find what you want. So did you experience any other difficulties in terms of maybe cost of living? I think you said job-wise you were pretty established. Social life or isolation? Maybe the question I was curious about is at what point did you start questioning your long-term stay in Canada, even despite having a PR, right? I think that's a bigger question for me.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people we were when we were in 464 Mill Street with you, like I think we've been stayed together for 3 months or something. So that time, even that is the time it kicked me, like in 2022 September or something. Like why we are here when I'm 27. So when people turn 27 or 28, that's what my thing. Like they used to question like whether we are doing it right. Till 27, I was just going with the flow. How it takes me. But at that 27 or maybe during that time, I questioned why we are here and is that going good. Maybe the bit of isolation or maybe I'm a very social person back in India while doing in masters. But after masters, in a year and a half, I was only visiting my friends 2 months once or something, because after masters, people go to different places. So in Canada, I built a bit of social life of the masters candidates who studied with me and work people, because I didn't go to office, so there was no office friends. There was only masters people, my friends from college. So I was visiting them 2 months once, and then the thing is like I will be flying to India once in 14 or 18 months, be here for 30 days. So that was my social life. The social life was very bad there. So that is one of the things that made me to think the long-term stay. And also, I'm a bit of a lazy person. I was spending too much time in cooking and cleaning. Not cleaning, because if I said that cleaning, then Anij would ask me. That was not a clean room.
I think I left afterwards.
So cooking.
But it was fun. Yeah, a lot of cooking.
Cleaning maybe, the kitchen and the common room I would not wish to clean. So maybe my room is like a peak male room. So people can understand that how it would be. The thing
I
is,
wish
like,
I had a
was
picture
maybe-
of it. Maybe I could show. in the chat.
You still remember in your mind?
Yeah, I still remember it in my mind. I mean, because most of us when they come in as a student, we live in apartments like this, right? Like where you have
Yeah,
five
yeah, yeah.
bedrooms, you have two bathrooms, you have a common kitchen. You go through that life, right? You're trying to reduce
Yeah.
the cost of living, and I just moved in from US to Canada at that point, so I was just looking for a temporary space until my wife joined me. So I think that's when we met, right? So it was
Yeah, 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 yeah.
pretty interesting to meet you there as well. And then I moved out gradually in 3 months, but it was pretty nice time there. I was also working remote, but I think half the time I was not there in the house because I used to go to Toronto, be with my sister. But that's good. That meeting kind of made this happen. I would
Yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah. True, true, true.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a destiny, and then lack of doing social. So I was a tennis player back in school. So I used to represent a district school level tennis. I also played a bit of tennis in my college. So after age of 23, I didn't even touch my tennis racket in Canada. So there was no good sports. So anything, if you align with the sports or going to gym, it gives you kind of a positivity, right? But in Canada, like I enrolled in gym, but in 2-3 days I don't go because so those are all like work. Only I was working, cooking, and sleeping.
Okay.
It was like that, eating and sleeping. So that all kicked my thing. Not like very serious and very serious thought, but somewhere it kicked. Like Canada is not a place for you. And then that started there, and then even after that I worked there for 2 years, right? So in 2024 May I came to India. So between that time and also I was asking myself that you are so good, why can't you be good in India? Everybody was saying I have a bit of confidence, I have a bit of overconfident. Anywhere you go, you will survive. I have that thinking in my mind.
Oh, it is good.
Anywhere you will go, yeah, you can survive. So and then I came without getting a job, I came to India. So 2 months I grabbed I was working for a friend startup, and then I got a job in HCL. So that's what is going there. So not a big thought, but maybe the lack of social life, lack of social sports activities. Maybe the winter made me to get depressed. I was quite like last to another. I was in Mississauga, which has a very bad weather than Windsor.
Weather, yeah.
Because-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Relatively,
it
yeah,
is
it is pretty.
relatively with five degrees colder. So 4 months or 5 months,
Okay.
you might 4 months. You can pick 4 months. You'll be locked in a room, or maybe 5 months. I would
Okay.
say till
Yeah, I think that all of that really makes sense to me now. I think it's very reasonable thing to say. I think a lot of people have different
really,
reasons
really,
to
you
stay.
think it is reasonable because when I say
Yeah.
because a lot of Canadian friends will ask me like they never thought that I would come back because everybody
Yeah, I
was
think
going
the
back.
next question. Yeah.
Yeah,
The next
people will
because
shoot you with a
look at
shock.
people. Yeah, because when you think about it, you are a person who found a job right after your masters. You're pretty much established. You jumped jobs. Like I think I've seen you in 2 other jobs here, and then you got to a third job in Toronto, and then you moved there to Mississauga. And then all of a sudden, what I'm hearing is, "Hey, bro, I've left. I'm in Chennai now. I found something." I'm like, "Okay, what happened?" So maybe that's the question I wanted. How did your friends? I know the reaction you already told me. How did your family react to this?
My family was very confident about me. Like, if you don't like it, come back. So this is that's where I got a lot
That's
of
the
confidence from my
attitude, yeah.
family also. If you don't like it there,
Okay.
no point of staying
Come
there.
back.
Come back because they were also missing me. It seems like my energy, my thing, and all. I'm a bit of very close to my mom. So my mom and dad. Anywhere in India, if I even when I'm back working in Bangalore, right? Now I'm in my hometown for 4 days or 5 days. I'll be back there. So that's where I keep the frequency of visiting home once in a whole month, 4 days. So in Canada only I got to visit my home in maybe yearly once or maybe 18 months once. So that was a pretty much big missing there. So they were like, come here. So they were very confident, like because I did masters, I'm very studious student back in school.
Okay.
So they were having that confidence
Okay.
in
No,
me.
that's good.
So come back. Yeah.
to come back and find something on your own. Yeah, and you did it, right? In 2 months' time, you were able to work for your friend's startup. Eventually, now
Yeah.
you are at HCL as a product owner, which is amazing.
I was
Congrats on
a
that.
product owner now in a different company, Inventco.
Oh, now you're in a different company. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
you keep
in corporate,
jumping. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Till 35, my thing is to jump now, not
Keep
jump like
shifting.
year and a half.
Yeah. Mm.
Minimum threshold is a year and a half. I will be in a
Okay.
company and then I will let jump. That's my thing.
Ah,
Because after
that's great,
35,
man.
you won't get to jump.
Yeah.
So right now in
Jump a
India, the
lot.
thing is,
Settle down somewhere by that age.
yeah, by in 2 or 3 years, I'll be settled down
Mm.
and then planning to start a
Okay.
startup.
No,
Let's
it's
see.
it's good. Okay. Yeah, all the best, man. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you will get there. Do you feel your Canadian experience gave you an advantage over the others after being back?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Lot.
Great.
Because before going to Canada, I'm not a bit of like a little bit of skeptical person to before going to or talk to a stranger or maybe a boss or thing. We have that
Okay.
Indian mentality, right? That
Yeah.
hierarchical mentality. Like this guy is higher, this guy is lower. No. So being here, coming back to India, in a corporate culture, still people used to have in that mind they don't talk easily to their boss to boss. So right now in my company, I talk directly to the director of IT. I go and talk. So that culture helped me, the Canadian culture, where you can talk to a person without any assistance or maybe a second thought. Go for it. If you have a doubt,
Yeah.
go for it. There is no
Go
any
for
silly
it. Go
questions.
ask. Yeah.
So the confidence, basically, it's a confidence as well as the culture which I learned there, being very gentle, giving other people a private time. So don't if in here some people directly call you at the time of 9 or 9:30. So but we know that we shouldn't call. We should ping them,
Yeah.
and then once we are there ready, then we can schedule a call. In India, like people they randomly call you at whatever time they want because okay they have.
Okay.
Maybe
Okay.
my work people will watch this, so better I
Maybe it's good for them to have that awareness, have that privacy, and
yeah, give the
there are
private
certain
time. Yeah, the
boundaries.
private time.
Yeah, I have
Boundaries.
that
Setting
boundary,
the
not
boundaries.
private time, but yeah, setting the boundaries essentially, which is
Yeah.
good, right? Like if they're able to follow it, it's good for them and as well as us, right?
I'm not saying
In
that
the long
everybody
run,
is not following, but some people, 50%
yeah,
of Indian
yeah,
diaspora in India, the corporate culture are following.
yeah.
But in Bangalore, it was really good. Before it was Bangalore, people are still following.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
depends
so
upon the
slowly,
company. Though.
I guess it's changing and the company culture and so on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it depends. It depends on the company culture, where you're
Company
working.
and the
It makes a lot of
manager
difference.
or
Yeah,
the people
the
you work
people, the
with.
team. Yeah, it's you have to have a bit of a luck to have everything together. But yeah, okay. Maybe the other question and I should ask is, what is, I mean, quality of life? I know, I feel from what I'm hearing, it's much better for you. Work life balance, maybe it's kind of the same between Canada and India. Social
In
life,
India, it's bad.
yeah.
In India, it's bad. Kind of bad.
Okay.
Comparatively, it's bad. We should
Okay,
accept
comparatively
because
it's bad. I think Canada is much
yeah,
better. I would say it's much more
much
laid
better.
back and better. You know, after five, like after work, we don't really talk about work. At least for certain jobs. As you go up the ladder, of course, it's a different story. Social life, obviously, it's better in India because you're closer to family, so that makes a lot of difference. What advice would you give to someone planning to move to Canada in tech?
Right now, I would advise them do a bit of research. Like right now, because you have to do a lot of research on which domain you are gonna study or which domain you wanna do the masters or PhD or whichever studies you're gonna do, and then check for jobs associated with it. Go for any course which has the internship experience with the coursework.
Okay.
So if it offers
Okay.
you at least 6 months of internship experience, where that would speak volumes in your resume. And then advice is in a tech, if you are a developer, go for a GitHub and go do a GitHub repository projects, build some know to how to build an AI agent, so kind of thing. So
Okay.
whoever saying
Okay.
there, like even from healthcare, people are switching to Canada right now. They want to do some
Okay.
dental hygienist. I've seen one people they're gonna do dental hygienist course, which is like 2 years course
Wow,
in
okay.
Canada. So they're doing a research, and then they're doing research on what jobs it's gonna offer, and for example,
What is
in
the pay
Canada,
range, right?
pay range. That is the thing.
Yeah.
People don't know that.
Yeah.
They'll expect more, but they will get less in the while landed a job there. Because even in Canada, which is the ground reality, is they are paying less because of lot of cheap labor. For 2 to 3 years experienced people, they are paying cheap labor, which I heard from my friends. So do a bit of research and on what jobs it's gonna offer and which city you're gonna settle down. I would suggest you to settle down in big cities. Yeah, like go for Toronto, Alberta, Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver, Victoria, Windsor at least. So
Ottawa.
kind of tier 1, tier 2 cities. Yeah, as in India also, we only get jobs in top 9 cities, right?
Cities.
So like that, Canada has only like 5 to 6 cities, which offers good jobs. So go for colleges there, settle down for a course there, and then go for it. So bit of research. That's what. Research on jobs, research on...
Do a domain research, do the job research, whether there are opportunities or not. Don't just come in with some course just so that you can get here. Always look for opportunities before you actually make that jump, because you're spending a lot of money.
Right now everything is available. Like everything is
online,
available on net, online. Everything is there.
Yeah.
So go for it. Ask seniors like Anish. He would give you.
Or watch the podcast, since we are bringing in a lot of people who are in Canada across different companies working in different domains. The whole point of this podcast is that we try to help them figure out their journey, listening to people's real experience, right? It makes them, it opens up a different perspective altogether. And today I am opening up, my perspective is also changing today, because the way you went back and you're able to find something on your own and your confidence from what you're doing right now, I feel like really impressed with what you have done so far. So
Thank you.
You're a big motivation for me as well. Maybe another question: if somebody is already in Canada and really struggling at this point to land a role, what would you suggest they should do differently at this point?
Yeah, maybe to land a job role after doing a studies there, do a bit of research on what can you do which make you different, right? Because the interviewer will interview 100 people, maybe 50 people. Out of 50 people, he will hire for 3. So the 3, so you should select. So do a bit of research, maybe think, so what I can do a different, don't go for online answers. Don't just type. Everybody does that chat GPT or maybe that agent. Now the thing is, everybody will give that A answers, right? So a bit of add your human input to it. Like so any answer the interviewer will see is like what a difference can you give from other candidates, or maybe what difference can you bring to the role. So do a bit of research about the job description and prepare yourself a bit more onto the job description. Maybe you have done a different project, but that experience will anyway add value to that job description. Look for that. What value can you bring from the previous experience to the job description? Prepare an answer. And then go for a chat GPT or whatever DeepSeek or whatever the AI agent answers. So prepare your own answer and then go for it. And then key it, and then you can have a different answer from other candidates, which makes you stand unique. The USP, so the unique selling point, people say, right? The USP will give you a right place to start with.
No, absolutely. Great. Looking back, do you see yourself, or maybe not looking back, do you see yourself coming back to Canada in the future?
So I'm very bad in predicting future. So, but still, I never thought that I'd be back to India, because people.
So you never know, right?
Never know. So, but I will be back I'll be back to US or maybe Canada, maybe Australia. I would be back in Canada if future holds some place for me. I will really be happy to back, because since I know the place, I have my friends like you there, so I can come there anytime. The bit of thing is like a lot of cost in airlines ticket, like spend, but still if in future, if there is any like projects, on-site projects, like with company, or maybe for my startup, or if I start a startup in future and then I want to be in Canada, then you never know.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Why not? So like,
Yeah, good.
would be happy
No,
to be back
that's
there.
good to know. No, good
But
to
for a
know.
brief
I mean, I
time.
just want.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it just wanted to know the feeling. Like, what does that mean, right?
I always
Maybe.
have high respects on my
Yeah,
art, or
obviously.
maybe on my
That's.
because it molded me, right? Because at the age of
Yeah.
23 I've been there, till the age of 28 or 28 I've been there. So 23
Yeah,
to
so your prime
28, all
years.
my
Yeah.
Canadian prime years I was in Canada. So still like that made me who I am today, and adding value to my current job.
Yeah.
As I told, what I picked from Canada, the culture, respecting people,
Yeah.
respecting people's boundaries, which is more important in corporate life. Anywhere you
Sure.
go, any domain you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where
Okay.
I'll be very happy to be back to Canada in any time soon, future.
Okay. No,
Hope,
absolutely.
let's hope.
That's. Let's hope. Let's hope. You never know how life pans out, right? So things
Yeah.
will change over time. You want different things, but again, your journey is quite impressive. I would say, Harish, coming from a midtown boy in Tamil Nadu, then you took the leap of faith to come to Canada, doing your masters, then finding a job of your own in a new country, new culture. Everything is new. You build your own relationships, connections, found the job. Then you got the PR. That's a big step. You got the PR. You just left everything, went to India, and
Yeah,
again
yeah.
it's not an easy move, right? Like just going
Yeah,
back
not
and
an easy
then
move,
finding something,
but
and yeah,
very, very good.
yeah, it's pretty
resume.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if maybe final message to listeners who are confused about staying abroad or versus returning home. Any message that you want to say before we close out?
I'm not very sure if I can give a message or maybe an advice, but always trust your instinct, because it's very like a very basic or maybe very niche thing I can say. Trust your instinct, go for it. Even if you are maybe try connect to people, talk to people in India. If you want to move back to India, because you have been there for 4 or 5 years. If you are back to India, you have not seen the India for that 5 years, right? So maybe for
Yeah,
6 years, whatever time. So in India, rapid urbanization is happening anywhere, because lot of people, lot of jobs. So they learn about the job market and how the salary is here. Talk to people here and then make a move, because there was challenges on my side, because I didn't talk much about Indian market. Being back to India, it was very tough to know about the market, what to ask for, what is the salary range on that particular role. So what role are you looking for? So a lot of connections you have to do. So that is the advice I would give. So and then decide practically,
Okay.
and then check with your parents if they're okay to move back, because if they're okay to move to Canada, because in my case my parents were not okay to move to Canada and settle permanently, because they are not okay.
Okay.
If they are very okay, and then if you are okay with Canada, then settle in Canada. So you have to go with a lot of different factors gonna decide that, parameters and factors. So go with the factors like I gave an example. So and then decide, I would say, and then trust your instinct, have confidence. So you gonna if you're not believing yourself, then nobody gonna believe you. So believe yourself.
Yeah.
I would say.
Believe in yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Maybe one last question I wanted to ask, because I'm very interested in this question all the time. What is the range of salary somebody can expect? You're going from Canada, there is a whole different purchasing power parity there, right? What is an average salary to break in tech for a 3 to 5 years of experienced product owner, product manager, developer? Salaries that you can say, a range of salary that you can expect in Bangalore or Chennai?
In Bangalore, I can give you. Maybe in Chennai, you can make it as 20% lesser, because in Bangalore, for a 3 to 5 year old, if you are very skilled, same salary, maybe in a minimum grade, you can expect from 12 to 22, 12 to 25. So if you are very much skilled, you can land at 25 LPA.
Okay.
Or maybe if you are very average, or maybe you can land at 12 or 13 LPA. Now that is the average pay in Bangalore, I would say. So in between, maybe you can land at 16 or 17 for a product owner, for a developer, or the thing is the market is like revolves around that 18 to 22 range. If you are
22,
very niche skilled at 25, very average at 13 or 12 for a 3 to 5 year. Yeah. If you are more than, then we can
Makes
calculate.
sense.
Maybe in Chennai, it's like 20% lesser. Even some people
Okay.
are making more. So I'm just
More.
giving you a vague range.
Yeah, I mean, this
Totally
is just a range, but I've seen
Yeah.
salaries up to like 36 to 40 and then on
Even
as
for
you
a
go up the ladder.
old developers, yeah.
3 year experience. But it depends on the company, your niche, the domain you're working on. And I've
Yeah.
seen it can go up to even a crore
70, 80
depending on
even.
the level. 70 to 80 lakhs. I've seen that as well. But
Because
again, this
there
is just
was
for the starting.
Yeah.
Entry level,
Starting.
I would
So-
say. 3 to 5 years is
Yeah.
entry level. Yeah.
3 to 5 years entry level, easily you can expect 15 LP in Bangalore.
15, yeah. No, that's pretty decent to live in Bangalore, I would say. Even, I mean, you can live lavishly with that, at least
Yeah, if you're
for some
fickle,
time.
if
But
you're
inflation
fickle.
is another topic, but maybe it's a topic for another day. But thanks a lot, Harish. I think this was a great conversation. I think from this podcast, a lot of people will get a lot of ideas, different perspectives, and maybe they can get a good comparison of what it feels like working in Canada versus being in India. Person like you making the move, having seen both the sides of the coin, it's much easier for people who are watching and listening to you make a better, appropriate decision on their future.
That's true. That's
Coming
true.
to Canada or being in India, right? So yeah, thanks a
Yeah.
lot, Harish. Great conversation. Really appreciate taking the time. I know it took a while for us to coordinate this
Yeah.
and make it happen.
It was really.
But thank you so much. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for pulling me into this, and then it was a really good conversation we had after a long time. And in future also we'll connect if needed with the different people from Canada or maybe different people from India, so that to get all the perspectives and to help our
100%.
viewers on to decide or maybe to know what is happening in Canada and India for the job market or our domain they are into.
Before we wind up, just for the audience, I wanted to share that Harish also has a channel of his own on YouTube. Maybe you can tell me what the name of it is, and I can put it in the description below. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Shoguns Tamil, because SHWGUNZ Tamil, space Tamil. So, which is a sports channel. The last video we put is the last IPL because we didn't get time.
Okay. So this time around, you have it. Yeah.
Maybe I have to kickstart again. Like, I'm not active for past 10-11 months because you know the work timing. I work around like 12 to 8 or maybe 11 to 9. Bit of my whole day caught up in my work. So, and also I play tennis for 2 hours in the morning. So that bit of all packed. So going ahead in the future, I should draw inspirations from you to start again with the channel.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm just a debutant, just starting. So it's not like I've been very consistent yet. But yeah, thanks for the appreciation.
Yeah, sure, man. No issues.
But thanks a lot, Harish. Have a good night. I know it's late out there. Take care. Until next time.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
See you guys. Bye.